Hello again. This is a screencast to show you how to use Google Spreadsheets to create a scatter plot. Follow along and please pause, stop, rewind, fast forward to get to what you need so that you can do this correctly. First of all, for scatter plots, we need to use not categorical data. We need to use quantitative data. And you can see that columns A and column B are categorical data. Those can't be used for a scatter plot. But C and D are quantitative data. We have numbers down here. So I can use those to create a scatter plot. But before I do this, I need to think about which of these represents my independent variable and which represents my dependent variable. And really the way to do that is you got to think of, okay, which one of these do I think affects the other? So column C is about hours of sleep that you get. And I really doubt that the hours of sleep that you get a night have something to do with how many children are in your household. I actually think it's the other way around. I think that the number of kids in your household may have an impact on how much sleep you get. So you need to think a little bit about that before you do that. And since those work in that order, I actually want to shift the order here. I'm going to take this column and I'm going to drag it over here, and that shifts their order. Now, the one that is the deep independent variable is first. This one, which I think depends on the number of kids in the household, is second. Now I'm ready to make my scatter plot. I'm going to select both columns. I'm going to go over here to Insert Chart. And we get a bunch of different selections here. No, I don't want to use a line graph here or a bar graph. I want to go to More, and I want to select Scatter. Not the bubble, the actual scatter chart. And there we go. It puts together a very simple one. You can double check that it's working correctly. One of the things that I know right offhand is that I had an outlier here, which was 16 kids in the family produce 6 hours of sleep. So I know that that's in the correct spot because this is at about 16 and it's on 6. But I need to customize my chart now. So I'm going to go to Customize. And here I'm going to make my chart title. And I'm going to say number of kids in a family and hours of sleep. There we go. Now I have a title. All charts must have a title. Kind of worthless without it. I don't want to really have a legend here. There's no reason for that. Not for a scatter plot. So I'm actually going to go to None. Get rid of my legend. I could change my font if I want. One thing to keep in mind is you're going to have more than one graph on your stats poster, so you want to use the same font on all of them. But there we go. I can change my background color. These are all things you should do afterwards. Again, if I want to use yellow for this one, I probably should use it for all of them. And you can get much more. Can maximize its size. That's a little much there. I'm actually going to minimize so I can still see my axes. Here, my axis title. This is really important. You need to do this. My horizontal axis here, that is number of kids in household. Notice I've capitalized. I have shortened a little bit, but it's clear what those numbers represent. If I want to change my minimum or maximum, I could. Usually there's no sense in doing that. So that helps a lot. Then I'm going to click here, and I'm going to go to left vertical, and my title for my left vertical, which is, by the way, this section here, that is hours of sleep per night. Get that done. I click Insert, and ta-da, it actually puts it into the spreadsheet. So there we go. So now I've created a scatter plot of my data. I have some interesting groupings here. I think it's going to be pretty useful. Pay attention to that. Make sure you have a title. Make sure that you have the proper labels to each of your axes, and you'll have a great scatter plot when you're done.